Hello and welcome. So I'm Elena Fitzgerald, and tonight we have our free Mums Night Out seminar, and I'm very excited because I have some beautiful women with me tonight who have taken some time out from their schedule. Very excited, and we're about to unleash some of the topics that I had for tonight. I will be running through them, and very excited to support and help mums out there, aunties, grandparents, anyone that has children, to help them through various situations in their life, and to give support and so forth. So welcome to tonight. One of the topics that I had tonight was do you feel exhausted? Because I think it was really, really relevant to this side of the year. And the reason why is because I've seen how parents are at this end of the year. Firstly, I just want to say hello and welcome. And
hello.
Thank you for taking the time out tonight. It's a very hot night. You could be home chilling with maybe a beer and relaxing. But you've chosen to be here tonight, and I just acknowledge and thank you for that and for making that time. Just a little bit of background about myself. My name is Elena Fitzgerald. I've been working in children's services for over 20 years. I started being interested in minding children and taking care of them at the age of 9. I always followed cousins and stuff, and always wanted to know how to do nappies and stuff like that, and how to feed them and everything like that. But that carried on through my life of always gearing me back, making me go back to children. Wherever I was going in life, I always veered back to being around children, and I just knew that it was my passion and my life. And I have that aura with children. I feel very trusted by children. I feel that I have a very unique, I suppose, character where, or maybe aura for children, where they feel safe. I'm always in situations where children will come up and speak to me, or I have a very good connection with them. Over the years, I've gone from being a nanny and arranged to children from 0 right through to 12 years. And I've also, so it's been through babysitting, nannying, and from there, children's services, childcare. I've done play groups and other things like that. And I also have trained at in the industry as well. So I trained children's services diploma, and so I've had sort of a good view of the whole sort of sector as well in that aspect, from children to being around the childcare environment and to training people who want to be in the industry. So all over the years, as you can tell, when you've got experience with children, the most important thing is that parents feel safe, I suppose, to share what's going on. Aunties, grandparents, whatever is going on with children, they want to share and maybe get strategies. And the reason being is because we do have so many children come by in our life, and if we're running a room, for example, there's so many children and we have so many strategies we've got to come up with to organise maybe 20 children sometime in a room. And so it's really always great, either in this environment or outside of it, to be able to just suggest to parents maybe to try something that I've tried and it works, or it doesn't work, and then to go into the next idea. So over the years, I've I guess with family and friends and cousins, they always ask me questions. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? And I naturally would just give an idea. So a few people actually came across to me and said, you really should do something about that. And so it's been something I've been working on for quite a few years to be able to support the community and parents, because I think there's support out there, but I think it's good to come from an educator perspective because we're with the little ones all the time. So that's a little bit about me. As we know, in this room we've got parents and aunties, and we have toddlers around us. What were your ages again?
2, 5 and 6.
2, 5 and 6 year olds, and we all have various situations that we're going through, and I'm very excited to be able to just cover some of these topics. I've also got some giveaways at the end of the night as well, which I'll go through with you when I'm at the end of the evening, just because you've come out of your way to be here with me tonight. I'm very excited to be able to share those as well. So the first thing that I put in was feeling exhausted. So what are some things that you're feeling exhausted about? Let's just put some things out there when it comes to just generally right now and around your children.
Tantrums. I'm trying to get them to do just something simple, like able to do it 3 weeks ago, why can't you do it now? It's just the same thing, and then just meltdowns. I realise it's the time of year for it, but
tantrums.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, tantrums. Perfect. Awesome. So tantrums are just like another big feeling. It's a feeling. It's just I can't express myself, and I don't know how to tell you because I don't have the words to explain myself. Or maybe that they're not getting what they want. Children are doing what they want, and then we as adults are telling them to do something else, and they just basically don't want to. So I will go through just some strategies around that as well. And what's making you feel exhausted? Is it just that? Is it the time of the year as well?
the time of the year, but she's not. It's mostly my 5-year-old. She's not responding to anything, especially going to bed. She doesn't want to go to bed. She's going to bed at 9:30 now and waking up at a normal time. She is tired as anything. They're just sort of trying to get her into bed, and she's too big to just plonk in a cot and close the door. And she'll just keep coming out and go back and do that for 2 hours. It's really exhausting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can't get anything done.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And what is your routine like? Do you have, what's your routine like at home? Is it something like, do you have dinner and then you've got bedtime? What time's bedtime? And you've got a routine?
Yep, very much. We kind of have to with 3. It sort of works that way. So, yeah, dinner, bath, bed. When I put my toddler to bed, the others are either brushing their teeth or they can watch their programs. And usually give them about 15-20 minutes of, reading a bedtime story and cuddles and singing and stuff. And then he's down. He's easy right now. And then, we'll watch some TV together. My husband will come home. He'll spend some time with them, do readers and stuff, and then they go off to bed. We both go and say goodnight to each of them, kiss goodnight. That has been a thing until recently, and she just refuses now, and has been happy doing that for the last couple of years. And suddenly no.
Yeah.
Violently no.
Well, I know. Right.
Like real screaming.
Okay, great. Hallie?
My biggest challenge is the afternoon nap, because that's what I take care of. And that afternoon nap is like 1 hour to 2 hours of trying everything under the sun. And then if that doesn't work out, then everything else the rest of the day just falls to pieces.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest challenge, and not having any idea how to do it is my other challenge. Like something starts working, and then the next week it doesn't work anymore, or something worked yesterday and then it doesn't work, for another 3 months again.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
It's all really common, and it's so normal for children to go through different changes as well. So I'm just going to go through some of the reasons. What I want to cover with you is, if you can imagine your children doing what you want them to do at bedtime, and having them be the boss themselves, actually having them take the strategies and follow through. So one thing I've learned over the years is I'm also with them, and sometimes they don't work during the day. Like at the moment with the weather and everything, I find that speaking to there. But then I actually implemented a lot of games with them. It's sort of making something into like a little bit of a game. But I just want to touch base on the foundation of everything, because it's going to flow into everything regarding yourselves as women, as auntie, parent. Because even if you're taking care of, Junior a lot, and it's quite exhausting as well, because you've got a hectic lifestyle as well. So the most important thing that I want to just cover is routine and discipline. Sometimes we want to carry on the discipline and the control and everything, but it doesn't follow through. I just want to say you're doing a great job regardless, and not to give up, and to just keep with the consistency, because sometimes we have a tendency to go, oh, it doesn't matter about it, I'll do it later, or maybe not follow through. So the most important thing that I recommend is and suggest is to just have, maybe from now on, try new rules and strategies and implement them at home. So, whether our husbands have got to be on board, our families have got to be on board. I'm going to try some new things, and I want everyone to be on board, because as we know, everything is about routine, everything is about consistency. You're the parent, you're the boss, and you're in control. As I've stated here, we're in control of the social time that we have. We're in control of our work time, our family time, kids time, and primarily also we're in control of our me time. And the number one thing is, with your routine, that to factor yourself in here as well. So for example, tonight you've taken the time out to come and do something for yourself. Let this be something on a regular basis, that every week. I've actually spoken to someone the other day about, every day there should be half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour allocated in your calendar. It's just primarily for yourself. So definitely, again, that's part of your routine. And I just want to run through some things to just, when you are feeling exhausted, to de-stress when you're feeling a little bit exhausted. And so we can have, as a mum, to have you feeling well rested. So like I said, every night and every day, just to have some time out for yourself. Even if it's finally getting everyone to bed, and for half an hour, I suggested to mum the other night to go and she was thinking of a glass of wine and a bath, and I said, so speak to husband, he's okay, the children are in bed, and go and lock yourself in the bathroom with a glass of wine and just say I'm not available for an hour, and that's that, and go and do it. And that is that you are allowed, and that is so important for you to have that time. Meditation. So in the mornings, if you have time in the morning, if you can get it up a little bit earlier, and in the evening, a little bit of meditation and deep breathing. Actually, to teach your children about this too, I'll go through that as well. But deep breathing is a very big key to helping you calm down and feeling sort of in control of your day. A good app to use for that as well at the moment on your phones is the app called Calm. It's really fantastic to give you some time out. Another thing that I've been implementing a lot of as well is journals, having a little diary and writing just some things that you're grateful for. Sometimes when we're stressed out, we can't see sort of outside of it, and just to center yourself, meditate and say, have a look at 5 things that we're grateful for. And I think one of the biggest things that I've always encountered with parents is whenever they're going through things with their children, it's so easy to say, oh, I'm not good as a parent at this, and I'm not. It's so easy to blame themselves or feel something negative about themselves. And that's where I had that need to come out and speak to parents, because just because they're having a tantrum, it's got nothing to do with you. It's just a time. Tantrums last from from like infant to 4, and then that's it. So it's just a period of time. Maybe it goes a bit longer. Again, if there's tantrums related to autism and other factors, that stuff that could be medical, need professional advice. I'm not here to give professional medical advice, but there is a limit to them. So it's just a tantrum. It's just sleep pattern, getting used to an environment or getting used to something with a sleep pattern. Whatever the case may be, it's not a personal attack or anything like that. I'm just gonna pause for a second. This is low, I think, for some reason. If you're watching today, I just want to say hi to everyone. Thanks for joining us live. We're here at Mum's free seminar, so please say hello, give me a love and like, and let me know what you're getting out of this amazing content. So yeah, have a little diary in the morning or at night if you can sit in bed or in a quiet place. Have your calm music on, write something, journal. You can journal what's going on for you, write down what's bothering you today, because when you're actually writing down, you're letting it go, and that's really helping. Even if it's just something little, like Johnny, Tom put that thing on the shelf and he threw it on the ground and it really annoyed me. It's just sometimes writing it down that is just such a therapeutic way of just feeling calmer. I know it's hard sometimes with these sleep patterns, which we'll cover in a minute, being all over the place, but getting rested, doing everything in your power to get 8 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours, is really, really important in our routines. I'm coming from speaking as a night owl as well. However, something that we start teaching our children that I'm going to show you now about being the boss of bedtime is about our brain and how it operates everything, and it needs rest. Simple as that. So we could be night owls, we could not tend to want to sleep and all this other stuff going on. But if we don't teach ourselves to start calming down at the end of the night and having some time out, then unfortunately, you know as a parent how it is. No sleep can be extraordinarily difficult. I've had a parent tonight who slept with their child all night on their chest because, that's where Dad put the child. The child stayed there and he was there all night. So again, we have to somehow, as much as we feel like we're obligated to do that, there's other ways around it where we've got to take control and put them back in their beds or their cots and keep working to having our sleep. Your things to do list. Sometimes priorities and things to do for the day, they can take a real big toll on feeling exhausted as well. So we've got all these things to do and all this stuff comes in the way with our children and other things. So one thing that I would suggest is to write a list of all the things that you need to get done and to do the top 3 most important things.
Interesting.
Now, top 3 things is better than nothing. You can't always do everything in one day. Just the top 3 things and celebrate that you did accomplish those 3 things. And then if you have a bit more time, great, you can add a few more things in your day. But start with what's the 3 most important things that I really have to get done. And they're non-negotiable. You might have to do 1, 2, 3. And something that I've implemented in the past few years that I want to continue these nights and implement this information is a 20-minute rule. So 20-minute rule is all about using 20 minutes to do a task that you haven't done. So putting a timer on. We've got our phones now. Our phones are fantastic. We've got timers on them, we've got clocks on them, we've got everything on them.
We've got Siri.
We've got Siri and Alexa. And what I can suggest is if you put a timer on for 20 minutes and have a task to do, just give yourself 20 minutes to start on it. You'd be surprised in 20 minutes what you can get done. I found out about this rule a couple of years ago, and I implemented it with a whole bunch of tasks that I had. I started it off. In 20 minutes, I got 3 of the most important things that I thought were going to take quite a few days. In 20 minutes, I did 3 of them. And I realised it worked. So I kept implementing that in my schedule. Whenever I have a task to do and I feel overloaded, I just start with 20 minutes. So, and that is, you start with, let's say you got to clean up your house, for example. You want to start with the room that everyone's going to be in first. So spend 20 minutes. You don't have to, it's not long. 20 minutes can be 20 minutes while children are watching Play School or something. 20 minutes to just start, and you might find that 20 minutes is quite valuable and you get a lot done. Okay, so that's something I could implement. Very important thing is saying no. We have a problem in the society as women, as people, guys, girls, we all do it. One of the biggest things that we have is we always say yes to things because we feel obligated, we feel guilty, we don't want to let people down. But the most powerful thing is to be able to say no.
And toddlers do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you like to come and have something to eat? No.
And then they do come and have something to eat, so you're like, just no.
Yeah.
No is the word.
Yeah.
Word of a toddler. No.
Mine.
I don't want to do this right now. I don't want to play here right now. No, I don't want to do that activity right now. No, I can't come and do that because I really have to do something else that's very important, even if that means I've got to go to sleep. No one has to know what you have to do. It's really important. So rather than going out of your way, how many times have we done something because we had to do it, we felt that we had to do it, and while we're there, we're frustrated. Not because we don't want to help the other person or do the other thing or whatever, it's got nothing to do with anybody else, it's about your own well-being. So maybe having to cancel stuff and saying, I can't do it. And you've been really good with that too, like, you know, I've heard Hallie many times say, look, I've actually got stuff on and I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's really great because when you have to commit to making yourself a priority is really important. That's the most important thing. So saying no, and no is not forever. It could be, look, I can't do it these days or this night, I can do it on that day. Or I'm just not going to be able to do it right now. And another thing I want to work on about exhaustion is every fortnight having a night off. So if you've got a partner that can take care of the children, if you've got an auntie, or if you've got a sister, if you've got a brother, or if you've got a friends of the children that hang out together, maybe you can actually negotiate, hey, I'll take your children one night per fortnight, you take my children, or something, and without feeling burdened. In this society, we need help, and we all need help as humans. One common thing that I've heard is I feel bad, or I feel like a burden, or I'm putting all my children on other children. I'm sure that family would love you to take their children for one night and have a play date, and you can go out and have dinner with your husband, or you can go out for a massage, and I'd love to negotiate with you, maybe giving me the night off. That would be great. How good would that be for helping each other like that? Okay,
I've actually done that before. Like, take your kids for 3 hours, and next week you take our kids for 3 hours, and they're all around the same age, so they all sort of play together.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it gives you some breathing space.
Doing it
Absolutely.
fortnightly.
Yes.
That's a whole different frame of mind, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You need to make more friends with more kids at the same age as your kids.
Yeah. And get out to things, get out to different events and meet people, and yeah, it's really good. But it's so important, right? Just even with family and friends, just ask for help. Return the favour if they didn't have children or whatever, something that you could do for them. Give them, I don't know.
Watch their dog for them when they go away.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good exchange. You look after my kids, I watch your dog.
Yeah. But instead of doing because sometimes the most important thing about that, putting that on a calendar, is we always forget about ourselves and then we're exhausted. Alright, so that's just what I want to cover. There's heaps more ways of becoming a bit more relaxed, but I thought I'd give you just a few pointers so we can cover that topic for now. I can definitely share more with you if you need to later on. We all know that sleep deprivation, there's a cause and effect to that. I've looked at ways of becoming the boss of bedtime myself, but also helping children to be responsible for that as well. So I want to give you some tips on being the boss of bedtime and just having consistency and sticking to a plan. It's really important to give children some deadlines and sleep time. So the first thing is to decide that, right, it's 8 o'clock every night. You've got different children, and we could always talk further about how to negotiate with all of them. The little ones are fine. What time does the little one go?
We usually start the process about 6:45, so he's usually down by 7. We're trying to make it later. He just doesn't last, so 6:45, and the others 7:30. So yeah, usually he's down, I come out, and we start the process with the other two.
And can I ask what time does the last one go?
My two older ones go down about 7:30.
So how long does that go for? Is it 7:30 and they're out, or at the moment they're taking a while?
Yeah, they're generally, my 6-year-old goes to sleep pretty easily. He's usually pretty tired, and up until recently, my 5-year-old would sing to herself for 10, 15 minutes and then be silent. But now she just comes out of her room and sulks and screams, and not sure quite where it's coming from, but yeah.
Okay. So one thing that we can start implementing through the day is conversations about bed. We can be eating with the child, and we can talk about what's going on later on. So we can say, give them an idea of what time they're going to go to bed. So let's say at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to start a new game, and letting them know about rewards as well. You can start off with rewards to begin with. It's going to be like a little bit of a game, and you're going to go through what they need to do with the game. The most important thing is when you're going to implement and consistently have these routines, not to feel guilty in any way of having to be in control. So as you can tell, as you mentioned before, as we've said, it's frustrating that they can't go to bed, or they're keeping this going on for so long. So it's about time for them to know that this is the rules and we've got to go to bed. I've heard a lot of conversation before about discipline and about the emotional attachment of feeling guilty or feeling like you have to give in sometimes, but I've found through the years that whenever a parent gave in, it backfired all the time. Something that I've come up with through my research and everything is being the boss of bedtime, to tell the children that, let's say an hour before, maybe when you're having dinner, to start talking about that time and the jobs that we have to do. So the jobs that we're going to have to do when we go to bed are, and get the children to start talking about it. And it's about it's like having a story, like a little bit of a story. Sleep tight, sleep right. Sleep right, sleep tight, sorry. So sleep right, sleep tight story is about the brain and how the brain, and this is something that we can start talking to the children about. Children love stories, and because they love stories, we can actually incorporate stories all the time to help them with different behaviours.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about fighting or something during the day with children, we turn around and say, and give them a book. We have a book that's about those kinds of feelings. Same goes with bedtime. So we can start with the topic of our brain is the boss of everything in our body. So our brain actually controls our eyes, our mouth, our hands, our legs, and if it's tired, then it can't control those parts of the body anymore. So talking to the children about that, children are pretty fascinated. I was just talking about the clouds today, having grey clouds and stuff, or over the year, how many things we've learnt and implemented through the year, and just going over it again, they get very excited. So making them aware of what happens when we're going to bed, so that the brain is going to have a rest. Then we go through a list of the jobs that we have to do when we're about to go to sleep. So number one, we have to brush our teeth. But maybe asking them the questions, what do we have to do before we go to bed? Number one, I have to brush my teeth. Number two, I have to put my pajamas on. What are some other routines that we have? Ladies?
We usually do toilet teeth bed. And that was a mantra that we had when I was growing up.
Toilet teeth bed?
I was one of 4 and Mum used to treat us as a herd. So it was toilet teeth bed. And so they go to the toilet and they go and wash their hands and then they do their teeth and then they go off to bed because they all have their shower and bath together. It's just easier that way. Water everywhere all at the same time.
Yes.
So we sort of have that mantra for that, so they know, and it's ever since my first. So they know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. So as much as they know what to expect, when you're sitting there and talking to them, maybe through dinner time, maybe make a time that you're all sitting together, and just say and get them to tell you what you have to do. So just turn it around for them to be telling you the answers, and it's like for them to figure it out. Even with how it's
23 months.
Even to me, once this can go on from like when they're infants and start talking. So even as little babies, we can implement a conversation there where they understand. When they're starting to also talk back and everything, and have a conversation with you, to start getting them to be own responsibility for it. So, okay, we have to go and do what? What are we doing for bed? What are the things that we have to do? And get them to list them. And actually you can, if you want to do it on a board or something, actually write it down with them. Because I do that here. We'll get their ideas down on a piece of paper, or I have a board, or you discuss it. You can just discuss it if you want. And then what you want to do is, once they've done all those routines, one of the general things that they'll do, we've got the toddlers and the pre-toddlers, pre-kinders, how many times do they want to go to the toilet before they go to bed? And how many times do they want water? So one suggestion you can do is
milk.
Yes, I have read a meme recently that said the greatest, most common cause for dehydration in children is bedtime.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So when you're on the dinner table, we're discussing this as well. So we're going to have a drink of water, We're going to go and do what jobs do we have to do, and then about the rules of once we go to bed, it's time for our brain to rest. It's time for our brain to have rest so that it can rest all parts of our body. And it's really important that we don't wake our brain up at that time, going to the toilet, doing that, whatever. So we have to go to the toilet beforehand, right? We have to go to the toilet beforehand. Oh, and why don't we take the milk or the bottle of water and keep it on our bedside table? Therefore,
that has become part of our routine now.
Yeah. So doing that, and when you've got toilet training children as well, have a little torch next to them that you can use in case they do need to go to the toilet. Like, give them that option. Make that an incentive too, that if we're not going to also listen, that you'll be taking that off them, because they love torches. Torches actually, I know my cousin used that for them to read and then they'd sleep. So have that as a tool to be able to go to the toilet, but making it easy for them to go to bed and have things around them that they need. And once they're lying there, a touching game. This is my bed, this is my pillow, this is whatever, my pajamas, eyes need to sleep. And something that I suggest as well is they've got their toys sometimes, their comforters, maybe some dummies or whatever. Maybe having a piece of cloth or something of yours as a parent to just have next to them under their pillow. The scent of mum and dad also gives them that safe, comforting feeling. And just talking to them about being safe in bed, and that mum and dad are here and not to worry. Having that conversation as well, because one of the other reasons they're getting up is just a bit of fear, worrying, dark. There's a lot of other things I'll go through in a minute. Just to go through that, so touching game, tapping softly on tummy, on the nose, just tapping and touching just things around them in bed. All right. And every time we're not getting up, to have a rewards chart. Have a little chart up on their near their bed, maybe on a wardrobe or something. And every time we're not going to get up in the morning, we're going to have a reward. So implement that as well. And the most important thing is to remove guilt from having to do things that are out of the ordinary, to implement new rules and strategies, and not to feel guilty about them if they're playing up with your rules. Also, in the childcare world, we don't have this discipline. We don't implement this in our centres. However, at home, you've also got time out. Time out to me is not a punishment. Time out to me is time for mum and child to calm down, because at a time where you really need something done and it's not being done, we have our time out. And that could just simply be sitting somewhere quietly for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I do according to the age. But it's not about leaving and they're disciplining them and hurting them or anything like that. It's just about having a conversation with them in a minute, and re-diverting them back to that chair. It's going to take a few goes. Sometimes they'll play up from that chair. But having that strategy to go back and say, well, really, I want you to sit down and have a think about why we're not listening, or why we're not going ahead with what we're talking about. Or I'm upset right now because you're not listening and it's really important. I need you to sit down and think about it and take a deep breath. And it's okay for mum, auntie, grandparent to walk away for a few minutes and come back and calm down. If you've got little babies, one of the most amazing things I ever learned from one of my teachers years ago was it's okay to put them in the cot, just lie them in the cot, they're in a safe place, and for you to walk away, and there's control crying and there's crying, letting them cry for a little bit and having yourself go to the couch and compose yourself, have a drink of water and relax and calm down. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not depriving or neglecting your child. I actually used that as a nanny. There was times where the child was crazy, was upset, I didn't know what I needed to do next, and I used to implement that advice from my teacher. Just have the baby in their cot safely, they had nothing that would hurt them, had a little toy with them, safe toy, and even though if they were upset, just for 5 minutes, if I needed to compose myself, just go inside, I'd have a glass of water, give myself a quick cup of coffee, and just sit down and just for a minute, just get myself together, and then go and deal with it. Okay. So important during, I suppose, and you probably know about this just as well, downtime, encouraging downtime through the day. Children are so active. There is so much going through a child's head all day long. They're learning so many things, so much data goes through their head, whether it's conversations with other children. There's so much going on in a child's world. Encourage them to have downtime. Even that in a childcare setting, even the children that don't sleep, just encourage them to just sit down for a minute, for half an hour, just to calm down. Have some nice music on. Turn down the blinds and make everything a little bit dark, a little bit calm. I don't promote TV all the time because I think there's so many other things that children can do in this day and age. We're just bombarded by the internet and TV and all that stuff. And to be honest, one of the most important things about nighttime is getting them away from technology and all that stuff at least an hour before they go to bed. All that stuff is also affecting people's sleep. One thing that I would encourage is and suggest is teaching downtime, putting that calm music on, talking about having some quiet time again to rest our bodies. Have a rest.
Well, if we have to do it for ourselves, we've got to do it for get the kids to do it too. Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
That makes so much sense.
And you know, you can also discuss with your routine during the day. And when you're talking about bedtime and everything, and let's say we're going to implement this strategy tonight, have a buzzer. It's going to go off just before we're about to start our jobs for night time. So we've got these phones at the moment are fantastic because we've got timers on them. We can set alarms. You can even set funny alarms with children's stuff on there. It's just like you can even, and another thing that I also encourage is when you are having some downtime and you can look at a story together or something, the internet doesn't always have to, or you don't have to have ABC all the time. You can look up educational little clips about sleeping or about something and sit and look at it with your child and talk about it. Because I do that, I implement that in my program at the moment. When I have to, sometimes if I'm saying it all the time, it's like, you know, profit is a welcome in their own home. Same goes with me when I'm with children all the time. So the other thing that I can do is implement a little short clip. It's educational. I always try and educate and have somebody else do the talking for me. And they say the same thing that I did, but just with cartoons and pictures and whatnot. Okay, so and then they learn as well that it's not just mum saying it or Lenny saying it or Callie saying it. It's actually real information. And then discussing it. I always discuss with the children at the end of it, what did you think about that? Or what did you learn from that? What do you remember from what you heard? We just discuss that. So once you have your little bedtime buzzer, we start with our jobs that we spoke about before. So what jobs do we need to get done? And let them talk about it. We have to do this. Children love to initiate everything. And then implementing further. It's so important to, as a parent, an adult in children's lives, and to repeat what you expect of them. You have to repeat it as you understand. You have to repeat yourself. And that you do expect these rules, and that's how it's got to be done. And it's just like safety rules, or implementing rules for eating. You have to just consistently have the same rules. You're crossing the road, you're not going to change it. You know, I don't encourage you going and running across the road because you're in a rush, because later on they might have to do the same thing when they're on their own. So finding the crossing, it's all about that consistent repetition of following through with your rules. Just like if you've noticed, when we're in childcare or educating children, we're constantly saying the same nursery rhymes, the same stories, probably for 2-3 months, because we're helping with the vocabulary and learning and repeating, and so they can eventually sponge it up, get all the information, and then and voila, they get to repeat it later. It's always about taking all the information and then repeating at the end. And something that's really good is setting up the night, turning down the lights. Maybe Dad has to go into the other room and do some reading for a little bit and turn off the telly. It's just a saying as a joke, right? If we have got telly going on, maybe it is all about it's quiet time now and setting the mood. Something that I learned actually from a cousin of mine was she was always just making the whole house understand that it's time for bed. The whole house had to know about that. And I learnt through this cousin of mine when I was studying as a nanny, I learnt to implement her little strategies, and that was, it's now bedtime. Half the time, my family just says, I don't understand, it takes me hours. No, because I said it was a rule. The thing went off. I said 5 minutes and that was it. 5 minutes and it was off. And I just stuck to my rules of we're going to bed at 7 o'clock. Yep, one bed. And another thing that children will often do is they want you to read to them or speak to them. So give them a choice. You can have this with 2 books, only 2 books. Try and get short books if you can.
And books that you don't mind reading over
again.
Yeah, but making sure that they pick 2. Okay? 2 books, that's it. You got your water, you got everything. Now it's time for our brain to rest.
So you're giving them the choice of which books they would like to read.
Only 2 though.
Right.
And that's that. So be consistent with that. Because there's always another one and there's always another one. Giving them your attention at that point, whether you and husband has to come in or partner come in, hug them good night then and there. Another strategy I've learned is they can have little photos of you, of the parent. Parents like under their pillow, so mum and dad are always around. You don't need to get up, because we need our brain to rest. We need our brain to make sure it has the sleep so our bodies can function tomorrow. It's really important that we rest now. Okay? So yeah, just making sure that we set up for night time. Set up the mood, turn out the lights, and get everybody in on it. Get everyone to start implementing that. Alright, so tantrums. So as children grow from, you know, their infant ages and they start to become increasingly more mobile and have more control over their environment, they think they can make their own choices. So they want to make their own choices, they want to have control over their environment, and most of the time they've got, you know, want to express big feelings and they don't know how to maybe speak about it. They don't know how to use vocabulary or big words, and their lack of verbalization makes them lose control, and they reach a frustrating moment where they outburst. So some of the things that can cause them to have tantrums is maybe tiredness, maybe hunger, feeling unwell, maybe they miss you, maybe they're needing attention, and ways to manage it is tantrums are sometimes you do have to ignore them, but without disrespecting the child as well. So I'm not ignoring them by not understanding that is happening, but just giving them a moment to feel what they have to feel, and then letting them calm down, and then being able to sit and talk about it. Sometimes I've sat next to them and just spoken about if they're okay and asked them what the problem is. Sometimes they don't want to talk about it right then and there because they're going through that emotion. And by giving them that time out to just calm down, I've always been near them and said, are you ready to talk now? And there's usually a time when they're ready. Yeah. And sitting down with them, giving them a cuddle, giving them that one-on-one, and then asking why they're upset. Is this something that you were feeling, or what was wrong, or what's been going on? And the most important thing is to remain calm when they're doing that. Just though I know that you've expressed so many things that are going on, this scenario, this topic, and just to try and keep calm the whole time, and keep your composure, and to get to the bottom of what's going on, and just remembering that it's very important to make sure that we don't accept unacceptable behaviours. That's fine. I'll speak to you on the phone. That's fine. Yeah, so to stop any behaviours which are not acceptable, and also, again, to give them that time out. So have you had the experience of tantrums in public places as well? Is that happening as well, or is it just
yes.
at home?
My 5-year-old's tantrums are at home. My 2-year-old's tantrums are anywhere.
Yeah.
Very public at the moment. He's the only one of the 3 that does the big public tantrums, sit down on the ground and won't move. And sometimes I just have to pick him up, screaming, tossing over my shoulder and go, because we have to go to school, or we have to get to the car after school drop off because I've got to do kinder drop off. It's just like, dude, I can't go with this right now. We have stuff to do as a family. You're little, over my shoulder in the car, and he's done within a couple of minutes, but goodness, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Is that how you speak to your child? Is that what you say? Is that how you do it?
No, that's usually my inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Usually, no, come on, we've got to go now, and say goodbye to the water fountain or whatever, and if he doesn't, he's just not responding to anything. It's not really, I'm not going to get through to him at that point.
No.
But we do need to keep moving because,
You got to do your things.
we have other things that we need to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can give him time, sometimes I can't. But depending on the moment, I can just let him go, and other times I can just pick him up and
what are some things that have worked for you? Because obviously you've done some things and they've worked. So what's some things
distraction?
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had to get him up from his nap because we have to do school pickup. Like I just can't let him sleep.
Yes.
We have to get up by a certain time and be there by a certain time.
Mhm.
It's just not really a negotiable thing. And he's tired and cranky about that. Even if he's had a long nap, he doesn't want to be woken up. So he can be screaming all the way to school, all the way across the oval, and he can throw a real ripper of a tantrum. And I have a responsibility as well. I know he's safe. He's not doing anything. He just wants to sit down and scream. But
Yeah.
okay, my embarrassment is, not that big a deal in the whole scheme of things. So I'll roll with it. I'm surrounded by other mums who probably understand.
Yeah, they do.
And usually just, oh look, there's a dog. Or the school bell rings and that's with, and then 2 seconds later he's like it never happened. Like, was it really worth the effort
Absolutely.
to throw that tantrum? But yeah, sometimes he just needs to get it out. And I mean, he's 2.
Mhm.
So that's what they do.
Most of the times parents are not, and other people that are seeing you are not feeling anything, but firstly, most people would say, oh God, it's you and not me. That's the first thing they're thinking. But rarely does anyone think anything and negative towards you. And one thing I always encourage with mums and anyone who's minding a child, it doesn't matter what people think. It's just like when we're having children, everyone has an opinion about how you're going to have them and what you're going to do with them. I love everybody's opinion. I get it. Even the book's opinion. But I say that your child is your own handbook. You don't need a handbook. You'll figure it out as well. And you'll have your own technique and parenting style. So yes, while it's great to have opinions and help, I get it. At the same time, it's okay for you to implement your own strategies and you learn as you go. No one had a parent book. Our mums didn't have parent books. They just rolled with it. Our grandparents had 10, 11 children at a time, and they rolled with it, and they were perfectly fine. Not everybody had a book, okay? It was just learning to do whatever you can. Obviously, they had advice, but I know I listen to my mum. Sometimes will say, I listen to ABC. When I think about children now, I wouldn't have done those things. Just something like as simple as fussing over them eating and having to clean up, be all clean. Let them eat and be messy, who cares? Do you know what I mean? I've seen her many times sitting around a child or baby and they'll be stuffing their face with spaghetti and then mum will go and fuss and she'll say, don't fuss. I did that because I had my people around me, fussing. Don't fuss. So just know that you're doing a good job anyway. That's the most important thing at the whole time is to just remember that you're doing a great job. That your child's just going through this little tantrum, this feeling, frustration, whatever they're feeling. Maybe they are tired. Usually if they're tired, that's what comes out. I know it's happening a lot, but at the end of it's just about you knowing that you're doing a great job. And it's not a personal thing. There's nothing wrong with you as a parent. It's just, what's his name? What's his name?
Lachlan.
Lachlan's just going through one of a Lachlan moment, and it's got nothing to do with mummy being good or bad. Alright, that's the most important thing. Just want to say hi to everyone. If you're tuning in to our free seminar tonight, we're having Mum's Night Out. We're very excited. I've had some amazing women here sharing and learning about what they can do when they're exhausted, when they're having bedtime issues with their children, how they become the boss of their bedtime, tantrums, and also gearing up for routines, rituals, and coming up to the festive season, how to deal with their children during this time, and routines and so forth. So I'm very excited to be here and to be sharing my knowledge as a child whisperer. So the other thing that I wanted to share with you was when you have got this thing going on with Lachlan, so when you pick up your children, for example, are you going somewhere after that? Are you going to a park, or are you going home, or you've got time to, or you've got other activities on?
Usually I try to minimise activities, like I don't take them shopping if I can help it. But usually at pickup we're just going to go straight home. They can have a play in the playground at school.
Yep.
Depending on the weather and how, energetic they are.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're just going straight home because dinner for us is about 5:30.
Yeah.
If I make it any later than that, my 2-year-old just goes nuts. So it's not worth the effort. But yeah, when I do drop off in the morning, I usually have something else that I need to get to. So it might be play group, or I might be going to the gym. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Or we're going straight home and have a bit of a play and a nap.
So, how far are you, so you drive obviously to these places.
Yeah.
So you play and then have a nap. Wondering if you could swap it. Maybe you could get him to go down before having a play, and getting him up and maybe doing something with him that is a bit exciting, something that he likes, just to get him out of that habit of having this tantrum. What if you could swap it? Like,
I could
have a bit of a lie down earlier, and then gear him up for, I'm going to wake up and we're going to go to, I don't know, whether the playground at school a little bit earlier so you can play with mummy. And see.
I never thought of that. Like, I don't often have to wake him up to go to pick up.
Right.
But it does happen. He usually goes down for a nap around about midday or so. But yeah, my only fear is he won't last till dinner time.
Right.
And that's just crazy with 3 kids anyway.
Mm-hmm.
After school and kinder, they're all a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to try anything.
Or a treat.
Treat? Yes.
It doesn't always have to be that you're going to have chocolate and stuff, or you don't always have to buy something.
Yeah.
But at the moment, if he's just going through this and it's something that hasn't been done before, maybe we just got to get his mind off that having to get up and going to get the children. Or maybe you could just make a stop and with everyone. So we're going to go with your brother and sister and get an ice cream. And gearing him up to have something exciting happen when he wakes up. Or trying that strategy and seeing how we can reverse this whole idea of getting up and not wanting to go and having that tantrums time.
Yeah.
Maybe just trying different strategies, like either we're going to do something like that, or we're going to go a little bit earlier to the playground. Would you like to go there? What does he like at the playground?
Oh, he loves it. Climbing.
Well, what does he love?
Climbing.
Loves to climb?
He can climb the ladder to go down the slide over and over again. But yeah, anything climbing, he will give it a go.
So maybe you can look at before you're going to bed and he's having a snack or lunch, say, hey, do you want to go climbing today? Okay, so how about we go to sleep and we're going to get ready to go climbing. Miss going to get the bags ready, whatever, and we're going to go.
Would that distract him, do you think, from going down? If you sort of suggest that we're going to do something, will you still think we're going to do it now rather than later?
Just got a trial and error with Lachlan. I'm not sure how he operates. After your sleep time, let's go early and do some climbing. It's always after your sleep time. It's also, again, a great way to have him have a sleep a little bit earlier, and then you can get him up to go to do some climbing. See what we could do with that strategy as well. And of course, maybe even just spending some time with him when he does get up and having a bit of mum time. Maybe he just wants a bit of time with you.
Yeah.
Having a cuddle before you go.
Oh, sometimes he doesn't even want to cuddle. He doesn't want to bar or anything. He's just crazy. tired because he was woken up and he'll, hit and scream and giggle and just, sometimes I'll put him down and he'll start getting back to bed.
Yeah.
Or at school, if we have to leave the grounds and he's been playing with the water fountain, he'll go back towards the water fountain and just.
Well, we can definitely work together and implement some strategies there, and see what you can do with Lachlan and also your 5-year-old to move forward with some of these strategies. We can try a few things and see what works. Obviously, there's so much content that I could give you. I could be here all night.
Yes.
Because there's so many ways of dealing with it. Maybe we could just figure out what's going to be best for Lachlan, and also I wanted to talk about what happens with your 5-year-old and maybe implement some strategies there to help her. And it's more about helping you as well through the process. That's the most important thing. All right, so what have you got coming up for the end of the year? Anything exciting?
We're going on holiday, just a beach holiday for about a week and a half in January.
Yep.
In the middle of January. So we've been trying to focus on that Christmas and our holiday with our 5-year-old to kind of distract her from things. I think she's feeling a bit anxious about starting school. She's spoken about it a lot, and we kind of wonder whether a lot of her behaviour is coming from that. It's not showing up.
She started a new school?
She's starting next year. She's just finished 4-year after that.
Right.
So she's in prep next year. So she's vocalised that a little bit. But
What has she said? Like,
I'm scared about going to school. I don't know where anything is. It's a small school. She goes there every single day. She knows the teachers. She knows the kids. They all know her. She knows where things are. I think that she's built it up a bit in her head, maybe. But we wonder whether that's a thing. But her behaviour that she shows at home, she doesn't exhibit any sign of that at kinder or at. They go to occasional care for a few hours a week as well, and she hasn't showed any sign of that. If anything, she's showed more confidence. So she's just letting it all go with me.
Right.
And I get that can sometimes be a good thing, like I'm in a safe space.
Yes.
But I don't like it.
Okay.
It's constant and it's very draining, and I'm a lot of ideas.
Okay.
Like what else do I do? Nothing's working, and she's not listening to reason right now. And she's 5, and she was doing really well, a month ago, but now she's not. So
Yeah.
So and the tantrums are just no. 2.
I've got some giveaways to give you tonight because we've got a small group. We've had some giveaways for coming out tonight. So one of them is a complimentary one-on-one call session with myself, and what that will give you is some space to speak with me, and we can further put a little bit of a plan together for you. And I've also got some other information that I can put together for you regarding these topics. I'm going to take some notes about some of these things, and I want to give you some a free handout of what we've discussed tonight and give you some extra information about that. And also a free ebook that I'm going to give to you is actually for you. It's actually something about for you to just strategies of calming yourself down and having like time at home, just little other things that you can implement for yourself, 10 ways of calming mum down. So give you those free giveaways just because you have come along. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for joining tonight. Very excited with all the input that I've been able to share with parents here, and very excited to launch some more information coming up. I will be touching more on tantrums, on our bedtime issues, and routines coming up to the end of the year. Thank you again for watching. Please give me a love and like. Share with anyone who would love to hear about some of the things that we shared tonight. We had some pretty key pointers on particularly being the boss of bedtime tonight. It was a pretty great topic that I covered tonight, and some pretty good strategies there about how you can implement certain strategies to have your little ones get to bed, having them be the boss of their own bedtime, and some strategies with that. Also about tantrums, I will be furthering on from here and giving more information. But for now, this is Eleni Fitzgerald, and I'm very excited to be your child whisperer. If you have anything that you'd like to discuss with me, please PM me on through Messenger or through the page, and I will connect with you. Have a really lovely evening, everyone.